Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Danny Lehr. He is a speaker, entrepreneur, author, former competitive athlete, and as he says, he's obsessed with helping people accomplish their biggest dreams 1 hour at a time. We'll learn from him about the mindset and tactics used by Olympians and entrepreneurs to take action and create lasting momentum. We'll learn from him how to stop waiting for motivation and start winning 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the show, Danny.
Thank you. I'm excited.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, Danny. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about how one can get unstuck and take action in their life. But before that, let's talk a bit about your journey, your story, your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
Sure. So I was a PE teacher. I was a teacher and a coach for high school sports. And then I ran into a guy who needed some help with his business, and I was always interested in entrepreneurship. So I joined up with him, and we were running a gym. After about 10 years of doing that, another opportunity came up, and I ended up starting an e-commerce company that sells coffee and apparel in the fitness space. It's called Caffeine and Kilos. And so through my experiences running the gym and running Caffeine and Kilos, I ran into a bunch of people, was traveling around the country for events, made a bunch of friends, and started competing in the sport of Olympic weightlifting. Well, through competing in Olympic weightlifting and running these businesses, I caught myself spending a lot of time around ultra high achievers. So we're talking about, Olympians, including an Olympic gold medalist and his coach, spending a few weeks with them. Also with people who started a business from scratch and scaled it up to over $200 million in annual revenue. One individual who grew and sold a company for over $1 billion. And I realized that all these high achievers, they all have the same things. They have certain things in common. They all kind of say the same things, think the same way, do the same stuff. And so I realized that all these things they do, that I have access to these people, and I'm seeing these things and I'm talking to them about it. And I realized that it's really not that complicated. And in fact, anyone can accomplish what they're trying to do if they just do these simple steps. So I put together a system, right? It's called the WIN system. And the WIN is an acronym. And that no matter what you want to do in life, right? Because most people have something they want to do. Maybe it's hike the Appalachian Trail. Maybe it's start a business. Maybe it's just have a little side hustle on the side. Maybe it's lose 40 pounds. There's something most people want to do. They feel like they don't get started because they feel like they either don't know where to start or they feel like they're stuck. And so in my book, Win Your Next Hour, there's just a simple, actionable system that anyone can do, follow the steps, and accomplish whatever they want.
Absolutely. We'll come to the book part, but I want to understand about this getting stuck part. What is in your experience? Some people get stuck, others do not. Is it that some people are born with something special and some people are, not born with that? I thought God was very equal for everyone. So help us understand about this unstuck part. How should an individual understand their unstuck? Is there a process before getting down to doing things that you enumerate in your win protocol as well as your book?
Sure. So yeah, everyone gets stuck at some point, right? There's something you want to do, and then at one point it gets tough, right? You run into a wall or a roadblock of some sort. And I think that what causes that for a lot of people is they have some sort of a setback, and then they freeze. They start to lose belief in themselves, right? And that's a big problem. Another thing is a lot of people are stuck at the beginning. Like they feel like they don't even know where to start, right? They say, how can I do this? I don't even know where to start. How do I even begin? And just even the thought of starting can be overwhelming for some people. And so a big part of those things is, the system I teach is the simple framework of win. And a best way for someone to do it is just take the very first thing, which is W, stands for words. You have to tell people what you're trying to do, what you want to do. If you communicate with people and tell them what you're up to, that'll help you in multiple ways. One is it'll bolster your self-belief. A lot of people, maybe they want to do something, but they're not really sure if they can do it or not. Or again, maybe they've tried before and failed. Well, you start telling people what you want to do, and you might be surprised. A lot of people might tell you, you know what, you can do it, right? They believe in you. And then also, even if they don't, the more you say it out loud, the more you start to believe it yourself. If it's just in my head, I'm like, I'm not really sure. But if I can't even bring myself to say it out loud, am I really going to put in the time and effort and energy it takes to accomplish something or to start something? And so if you don't truly believe it's possible, you're not really going to spend the time and energy it's needed to get it done. So just by saying it out loud and telling people makes a huge difference. Another thing is that now you have some accountability. If you tell someone what you want to do, next time you see them, they're going to ask you about it. In fact, when I started writing the book, I knew it was a big undertaking. It was going to take a long time and a lot of, we'll call it stick-to-itiveness, right? A lot of perseverance. And so I just started telling people, and I was a little nervous at first, like, oh yeah, you're going to write a book, right? You think that's what people are going to say, or like, or think you can't do whatever. I had the opposite. Anytime I told someone what I was up to, they were like, oh, wow, that's great. Like, what's it about? When's it come out? What's the, you get all these questions about it. And I found the more I would say it out loud, right, the more I would have people ask me about it down the road. And I didn't want to tell them 2 weeks later that I hadn't been doing what I said I was going to do. So you have that accountability piece. Every time I'll see someone, they're like, hey, how's the book coming along? Well, I better be able to say like, oh, I've been working on it. Oh, this morning I got 800 words, right? Something other than like, oh, actually I haven't done anything since we last spoke. And the last thing is that people want to help you. You'd be amazed how many people, maybe they themselves can't help you directly, but they have connections. You might tell someone, hey, I'm writing a book. And they might say, oh, actually my brother is an author. Like he's self-published. Do you plan on doing that? Do you have any questions about self-publishing? Or maybe they say, hey, my uncle actually works for a publisher. You want me to introduce you to him, right? You'd be amazed how many people want to help you if they just know what you're up to. And so when someone feels like they're stuck, whether that's at the beginning or down the road, the best thing you can do is to start telling people where your struggles are.
Absolutely. So you talked about win. W is for words. I is for?
The I is for invest. And so a lot of times people think invest means money, and it can, but it doesn't have to. You can invest time. You can invest energy. You can invest some pride, right? There's different things that you can do with this. And so, one example of this is I had a goal. I wanted to ride my bike around Lake Tahoe, which Lake Tahoe is this beautiful, mountain lake, and it's 73 miles around the lake. I'm not an endurance athlete. Again, I was competing in weightlifting. It's the exact opposite of that. But I had a friend who didn't. It sounded like fun. And it was a fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So it's for a good cause. So these bikes are expensive. Like you go get a brand new road bike, they're thousands of dollars. And I didn't really want to spend that money on something that I didn't know if I'd really enjoy it or not. And so I bought an old used bike off Facebook Marketplace for like $150. And then what I did is I just fixed it up over time. I didn't know how to work on bikes, right? But what I did is I would say, okay, I need a new whatever rear derailleur. So I went and I just bought, I found one on eBay that was pretty inexpensive. And then you watch a video and you open up ChatGPT and you sit there and you get it done. And so I invested time in that, getting that bike ready. I spent, a couple hours a month, at least say 4 to 5 hours a month, learning how to be a bike mechanic, right? So invest doesn't always have to be a bunch of money. Sometimes it can just be your time and energy that you're putting into something, So that's the next step, is find where can I invest in this? And oftentimes it turns out to be somewhat of a point of no return experience. So either there is some sort of financial outlay that you have to start with that there's no turning back on. Or again, it's the time. Maybe you move, or maybe there's a coach that can help you, but they're an hour away. And so you have to drive to go see this coach. So just kind of look at, okay, what's the next step and how can I invest in this? Whether that's financial or, time or something, or relationships or something else. So use your words, tell people what's up to, and the I is invest.
And the N?
And so the N is note your progress. As we go down this path, a lot of times it's easy to look at how far we have to go, and we're not looking at how far we've already come. And that can really be detrimental. It's really discouraging sometimes to see how far off in the distance it seems like the end goal is. But when we stop, take time to look back and say, okay, well, how far have I come? Right? When you started this journey, maybe you hadn't zero experience with whatever that goal is. Well, how far have you come? Maybe it's weight loss. You want to lose 40 pounds. Okay. Well, you're 10 pounds into it and you're sitting there going, man, another 30 pounds. That seems like a long way to go. But hold on, let's stop. Did you celebrate the fact that you lost 10 pounds? Most people would be ecstatic, would be excited to just lose 10 pounds. Go ask anyone on the street who's a little bit overweight. Hey, how would you like to be 10 pounds lighter? They probably say, yeah, sounds great. And yourself is the same. And the other thing is that you have to recognize that gain that you've made and not just look at the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And that keeps you motivated, it keeps you encouraged, and it keeps you going so you can get towards that goal. So a little recap. So the W is words. You got to tell people what you're up to. I, you need to invest, whether that's time, money, right? And then you need to note your progress. Celebrate the small wins along the way.
Absolutely, Danny. So to understand, you talk about, win your next hour. That's the name also of your book. What do you mean by win your next hour? Why not win your next day or next week or something? Help us understand from that point of view. Talk about your book if you want to. How have you dealt this part in your book?
Sure. So win your next hour really just means the task that's immediately in front of you, right? And in hours, a block of time, most people can understand. It could be win your next day. It could be win your next minute, right? The whole thing is that, again, it's when you look at how far you want to go, oftentimes it seems like it's so far off. Well, how do I get there, right? Again, back to the weight loss example. If you want to lose 40 pounds, well, if you're looking at 40 pounds lighter, well, a healthy rate of weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds a week. And so we're talking 40 pounds, we're looking at 20 to 40 weeks. And so if you say, okay, if I buckle down and I really, get it together, then in 4 to 6 months, I can accomplish what I'm trying to do. Well, that seems like that's hard, man. Like, I don't want to wait 6 months for something, right? Like, that seems like a long ways off. And, that piece of cheesecake is here now. And I'm going to not eat this so that in 6 months I can get my goal. Like, that's a really hard thing to do. Whereas you look in the short term, I say, well, I don't have to win, every single thing. I don't have to worry about winning 4 weeks from now. I just need to win right now. That piece of cheesecake that I really want to eat, I just have to say no right now. If I can just not eat that right now or just have one little bite and then stop, if I can do that, then I won, right? I can win this moment right in front of me. And then when you do, you feel good about it, right? You didn't eat that cheesecake, you get home later and you're like, you know what? Like, I did it. Like, I was there. It was tempting. I really wanted it, but I said no, right? I won that hour. I said, no, I'm not gonna do the thing that I know is going to divert me from my goals. And then you can start stacking these wins up, right? And the more you win, the more you expect to win. Because that's the thing. A lot of people, they feel stuck because they feel like they're just losing all over. They're just getting their butt kicked all over town, right? But then you start stacking these wins, with the small things one at a time. And that gives you more confidence and it makes it easy to follow through. Because you're like, I know I can do it because I did it then. Last night at dinner, I didn't eat that cheesecake. So why would I have this piece of candy in the morning? Why would I eat this donut at breakfast? If I said, I know I can do it, I did it before. And that confidence of winning 1 hour at a time emboldens people to keep going and staying motivated towards their goal.
Absolutely. So in terms of, in a nutshell, what would you like to tell people to, to move with what sort of a mindset to accomplish their goals?
Well, the thing about the mindset is, again, it really comes down to believing in yourself. And it's these small wins one at a time that make the biggest difference, right? And so that's the biggest thing I tell someone if they want to move into this mindset is just find somewhere where you can get a small win, right? In fact, even on my daily to-do lists, I don't write a never-ending to-do list because then you always end the day and there's stuff that you didn't get to, right? And that can be discouraging. So I write 5 things. I only write down 5 things that I have to get done that day. And what that does for me is at the end of the day, if I did all 5 things, I write a W at the top of the page. I won that day, And then you do that a few days in a row, and now you got a streak, right? Now the goal is I'm going to go 100 days in a row without missing a day. And I teach that system a little bit more in depth in the book, Win Your Next Hour. But that's the point is, I'll tell someone who's like, hey, you just need to get a small win. And so again, maybe you want to hike the Appalachian Trail and you don't even know where to start, right? Well, step 1 is maybe you why don't you look up what the routes are, look how long it takes. How long does it take somebody? What's the best time of year to start? Do you start, in Canada or down by Mexico? Or like you just figure just do some research. Boom, there you go. Now you just won a little bit because now you actually have some sort of a plan. You know how long it takes, you know where to start, okay, next. All right, well, what clothes are you going to need, right? You just start little things one at a time. And as you start, so that's the mindset shift is I can't, in fact, it's impossible for me to do the entire task right now. What can I do now? Like what little wins can I get? What progress can I make towards that? And as long as you're just moving forward, then you're constantly stacking these wins. And again, believe in yourself, right? And so that's the mindset shift is yes, the big thing, the ultimate thing you want to do is a challenge and it's a big task, but you just one step at a time. What's some way you can win right now that'll get you down that road?
Absolutely. There is so much to learn about all this from you, Danny, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more about you, from you, and also about your book. What is the best way for them to do so?
The best way about the book is to go to winyournexthour.com. If you go to winyournexthour.com, it has links to Amazon. It's on Audible, barnesandnoble.com, anywhere that you buy your books, you can get it there. And then also I've been doing some public speaking lately. So if anybody has an event they need a speaker for, I'd love to help you out that. The best way to connect with me in general is on Instagram. And so it's just at Danny_Lehr, and Lehr is spelled Lehr. So on Instagram, Danny_Lehr.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.